everyone? Happy Friday. It's your girl, Shirley Nichols. You're in live now with Mortgage Money with Shirley. Y'all, I just want to say thank you so much for all the support and love. I've been getting a lot of feedback and great comments and suggestions, advice, and questions, of course. There's always questions, and I love them. I welcome your questions about this mortgage business. Again, I'm your girl, your host, Shirley Nichols, on this beautiful, gorgeous March 4th, first Friday of the month. Y'all, we're getting ready to get into that spring. They want to say March Madness, but I want to say Mortgage Madness, March Mortgage Madness. Let's get into it. So we're on today. If you're tuning in live with me on Facebook right now, you're watching me live. If not, you might want to catch the replay. Tell your friends about it. Go and subscribe. I'm all over YouTube. Yeah, all over YouTube. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's under Shirley Nichols, and you'll see all 18 of the episodes that I have for Mortgage Money with Shirley. This is episode 19. We're into episode 19 on today, March the 4th, and we're going to talk about, is it time to refinance? Yeah, because we've been getting this question of what should I do? How should I go forth? But I want to talk to you a lot about the refinance process and the timing of it all. So again, I'm your host, Shirley Nichols. I'm a mortgage broker with Clear Sky Mortgage and Realty. I've been a mortgage broker for I don't know how long. Really, I do. We'll just call it over 28 years. What? What'd you say, Shirley? Over 28 years in the business as a mortgage broker, as a mortgage lender, as a loan officer, your account executive to help you prepare, get you qualified for a mortgage. Whether you're buying a home, getting finance for your new home, or you're refinancing your existing mortgage, I'm your girl. Give me a call. And I will give you my phone number after the show, okay? So again, replay, if you need to listen again, it's on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. It's under Shirley Nichols. Tell your friends and family about it. I'm on Instagram, Mortgage Money with Shirley. On Facebook, my business page, Mortgage Money with Shirley. And then on my personal page, Shirley Nichols. Again, you can catch me every first and third Fridays of each month. I'm on live first and third Fridays of each month, 9:30 here in California, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, the first and third Fridays of each month, okay? And like I said, I've got 18 episodes already on YouTube that you can refer back to. There's a lot of great stuff. I mean, this is some meat, some potatoes. You might even throw in some green beans and vegetables. You know what I mean? It's a lot of good stuff in these episodes. You just need to listen. Tell some friends and family, co-workers, whoever you got. Let them know. All right, so again, let's talk about episode 19. Is it time to refinance? So you might be sitting there thinking, I've got all this equity because I live in Los Angeles County, and the Los Angeles County values shoot up. And over the last 2 years, I don't care where you lived. I don't care what part of the country, from the east to the west, the north to the south. I don't care where you lived. Your equity probably increased. Your value probably increased. Your equity amassed, and you probably have more of it. What's equity, Shirley? Oh, okay. Wait, slow down, pause. The equity is the money you've built in your home, the value has gone up versus or minus what you owe on it, okay? That's your equity. That's your money. That's your investment. That's your ROI, your return on investment. Yes, that's yours, right? That's the equity. The value has gone up minus your mortgage balance that you owe. That's what's left over, that remaining equity, that cash, that asset, that investment is yours. Your house will be one of the biggest investments that you ever do in your lifetime, right? Your house will be one of the biggest investments that you will have outside of a 401k or retirement plan that you might have with your company, right? So why not use this equity to your advantage, right? The market does this. You know, sometimes they'll tell you, oh, the market's down or it's going down, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean your value is going down, but it could mean that your value of your property is not going up. So you're not building that equity as fast as you like. However, over the last 2 years, when this whole COVID pandemic was out and about, values for whatever reason started going up and people were selling their property tens of thousands. Yes, tens of thousands over their asking or their listing price. So there's equity in those properties. There's equity that you could use to your advantage. So what do you mean? Well, it's called a refinance. And more specifically, it's called a cash out refinance. So what's a cash out refinance, Shirley? Well, a cash out refinance is getting more cash on a new mortgage versus what you have and owe on the existing mortgage. Okay, does that make sense? So let's just say right now, your existing mortgage, you owe Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, you owe them $100,000 on your existing mortgage. However, as I mentioned, the values have gone up and up and up on your property. So you're starting to build this equity, right? So you want to take advantage of that. And you call me, hey, Shirley, I want to refinance my property. And I'll say, so do you want to just do a rate and term and just lower the rate, reduce the payment? Or do you want some cash out? That's a cash out refinance when you call me up and say, hey, I want a little more cash. Instead of us paying off or refinancing that existing mortgage to Chase Bank or Wells Fargo, whoever you got, for $100,000 that you owe them right now, instead of just refinancing or reducing the interest rate and the payment on that $100,000 existing balance that you have right now, we're going to add to it some more cash. Yeah, you can do that. Amazing. So that's what we're calling a cash out refinance. When you get more on top of what you owe. That's a cash out refinance. So, and a lot of the times people are wanting these cash out refinances to consolidate bills, consolidate debt, credit cards, or pay school tuitions or whatever they have that they may need a little bit of extra money that they don't want to dig into their personal savings or checking account. Maybe they don't want to dig into these accounts over here. So you get it from the biggest asset, the biggest investment that you own, your house, your property, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but I always say, make sure you're doing it for a worthy cause or you're taking advantage of what you can right now. Okay. And yes, you'll hear, oh my gosh, interest rates are up. Oh my gosh. Interest rates are up. But they're not high, very high. And that's only because I might be a little biased. I've been doing this for, like I said, over 28 years. And I used to, when I first got started, I was selling the mortgages or refinancing the mortgages in double digits. We're talking 10, 11, 12% interest rates. So to see that rates are still around the 3.5, 3.25 mark, it's not high, okay? It's not. It's still under 4%. Now, are there interest rates that are under 3%, you may ask? Sure. But here's the thing. When people say that interest rates are up, interest rates, oh my gosh, they're so sky high. No. What they're really saying are your cost, the buy down, the buy down points or the discount points that will get you to this specific interest rate. So if you're trying to still get a rate that's under 3%, let's call it 2.75, 2.75 you're trying to get to, you can probably still get this interest rate, but the buy down points have shot up. Now that, I will say, is very expensive, very pricey, are your buy down points or your discount points to get you to that 2.75. So instead of this time last year, literally this time last year, 2.75 may have only cost you, I don't know, an eighth of a point, 0.125 or a quarter of a point, right? Or $1,200 or $2,000 to equate that to a dollar amount, maybe $1,500 to $2,000, somewhere in there, right? This time, right now, if you wanted that same 2.75 rate or 2.75, it may cost you about 18, 19, 20 grand. Yeah. Because those are the discount points or the buy down points or the cost to get you to this 2.75 in today's market. And like I said, this time last year, there would have been nothing about $10,000, right? And that's because the market has shifted. So now it's going to cost you more monies to get you to that same rate. And that's, hey, listen, you don't have to have a 2.75. You don't need a rate under 3%, right? If you have a rate under 4%, you're still doing good. If the rate is 3%, somewhere in that area, and you're getting cash back on top of what you owe, you're winning. You're winning, okay? So again, there's nothing wrong with a cash out refinance, and that's when people say, is it the right time? Should I be doing this refinance? Should I be doing a cash out refinance? I'll say this. Last year was probably the better year ever to refinance and just simply lower the interest rate and lower your payment, right? Last year and the year before last were two of the most phenomenal years in the history of lending money that were very, very great years to refinance basically exactly what you owed, right? To refinance your existing mortgage and not take out any money. That was a great time to do that last year because the rates were down and the payments would go down accordingly. This year, is it still a good time to refinance? Absolutely. If you're taking out cash, it's still a good time because you're going to get cash at the rate of, like I said, 3%, 3.25%, 3.5%, versus going to a bank or another loan company and just doing like a signature credit line or a credit card. I mean, think about it. Most of your credit cards are going to either start in the double digits, 10, 11, 12%, right? Or they're going to be somewhere really close to that, 8, 9% on a credit card, or even on a signature loan where you're not using your home, your property as collateral, where you're not doing a mortgage. If you were to go and do just like a signature loan, that rate is going to be a lot higher than this 3% over here on a mortgage. So do yourself a favor. Cash is cash is cash. I mean, if you're going to get cash from a credit card, cash from a signature loan, cash from a personal loan, cash is cash is cash. But you might as well do it at the cheapest rate that you can get it at, right? And that's using your property, using your home, and you can use this money while it's there. Now, what do you mean by that, Shirley? Well, again, it's still the housing market. You're still going to have your ebbs and flows, your ups and your downs. You're still going to have that. So be mindful that now it's a really good time that you've probably gained a lot of equity these last 2 years. Use it if you need to. Use it, liquidate, get some cash, go buy another property, pay off some high interest rate credit cards. Yeah. People are still doing, the credit card thing. That's what they call the American way, credit, 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 right? So if you have these credit cards, and I've talked about this on several other podcasts, that credit cards will do this to your credit, up and down type of thing, if you are using them and maxing them out, so to speak. So again, watch how you're using your credit cards. But if you're using your credit cards, because the old adage is true, you need credit to get credit. So if you're using credit cards, just get them at the minimum balances or below the utilization rate of 40% or so, and just keep them under there. And if you need help with getting them under their balances, maybe that's when you do a cash out refinance, get a lump sum of money and pay off these high interest rate credit cards because it's cheaper that way. And then it's tax deductible over here on the property versus your credit cards are not tax deductible. And speaking about tax deductions, it's tax season. I don't know about everybody else out there, but my tax returns are due on April the 15th. So they haven't moved that date. I know during the pandemic, they moved the date to a later date in April. But I believe it's back at the April 15th date or when taxes are due. The reason why I mention these personal tax returns or your 1040s is because if you have an existing mortgage right now, if you had an existing mortgage last year in 2021, your mortgage company by now should have already sent you out the Form 1098, which shows you the interest that you've paid for the previous year, right? So again, I don't care whoever your mortgage company is, make sure you have your end of the year mortgage statement. It's called the Form 1098. It looks like a W-2, but it's not. It's coming from your mortgage company, and it's going to show you how much interest you've paid for that previous year. That's tax deductible. Yeah, it is on your Schedule A, right? If you're itemizing and doing a long form tax return, you're going to be able to deduct that interest. And it's very important that you all realize how great of an asset you have when you own property. Okay? The tax deduction of it all. How about that? So while you're over there worried about, oh my gosh, the interest rate, guess what? It's tax deductible, right? So again, I implore you to understand, is it a good time to refinance? Sure. If you need the cash and you don't want to go into personal savings or checkings, or you don't want to use these high interest rate credit cards, use the property while you have the equity to use it. Okay, like I said, across the country, especially here in LA County, values are up. You know, people have really gained a lot of equity. They've amassed a lot of equity over these last 2 years. Use it, right? And if you don't know how to use it, call me. So again, that's why I said today's topic about, is it a good time to refinance? Absolutely. And let's kind of go back a little bit. I mentioned the refinance that deals with your rate, your interest rate in your term. So like I said, last year was these last 2 years were great years to refinance for a lower interest rate and payment. Now, again, some of you did not take advantage of these last 2 years and your interest rates are over 4%. Let's call it over 4%, maybe closer to the 5%. I'm, dealing with a couple of clients who, believe it or not, their interest rates are at 5.25%, 5.125%, and all because they just simply didn't refinance for whatever reason. People aren't refinancing or didn't take advantage of that over the last 2 years. There's nothing wrong with getting started right now. And again, I've touched on this topic before as well. If you have a second mortgage on your property, you have an additional lien, you have a home equity credit line, you have that awful, and I'm sorry, let me stop saying that, but you have an awful PACE or a home improvement, those liens, those home improvement liens are the worst. And I know I'm being a little biased, a little bit, but they are the worst. Those home improvement loans, they call them the PACE loan or the HERO loan or the other home improvement loans. They got little acronyms, but PACE is an acronym and HERO is an acronym. And these are the two most frequently used home improvement loans here in California. And they are just outrageously expensive. And that's why I don't mean to be biased, folks, but those home improvement programs, they come around normally during the summertime, normally the hottest month of the year in August. They'll come knocking on your grandmother or grandfather's door, and they normally target older clients, and they'll say, hey, do you want a brand new air conditioner? Do you want a brand new landscaped area in the front yard and a brand new roof? We'll do it for free. Yeah. They really do come around your door in the summer months mainly, and they normally will ask, do you want all this fancy stuff to happen to your property? So here in California, guys, in Los Angeles, it was really a culture shock. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. It was really a culture shock when I came here to California and Los Angeles specifically. I had no idea people really didn't have air conditioning units. And I'm thinking to myself, what? This is crazy. I grew up in a house my entire life in Kansas City with an air conditioner. It's hot. You go to the thermostat, you push a button and poof, now it's cool. And I just thought to myself, how weird that people really don't have air conditioning units in their homes here in California, in Los Angeles. I just thought that's the craziest thing. And when I was out, looking for my own property here in California, and it would say in the description, here's a property, blah, 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 123 Main Street, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, blah, 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 and it has air conditioning. And I'm thinking, why do they need to put whether or not it has an air conditioning unit in the property? Of course it does. That wasn't always the case. Here in Los Angeles County, for all of you all that are watching across the country, yes, air conditioning was not, necessarily in every property. It wasn't. And I'm thinking, I grew up, like I said, in Kansas City, Missouri. I wish we didn't have an air conditioning unit in our house. I wish my mama or daddy bought a house without an air conditioner. I wish that would have happened. No, ma'am. No, sir. But real quick sidebar. My mom did. She's probably gonna kill me for this. But my mom would wait until the last day of summer. Okay, maybe not the last day of summer, but she would wait a long time into those summer months before she turned that air on. Oh my goodness, I can tell you stories how we would, Mom, can we turn the air on? Baby, go sit down. Open the window. Take your shoes and socks off. I mean, we would be in there. And she would say, you better go sit down. So, although we had an air conditioner, which now I'm starting to find out maybe it is a luxury being out here in California, but although we had that air conditioning growing up, my mom did not play with the air conditioner. It needed to be about 95 degrees outside before she turned it on. But I say all that to say, here in California, those air conditioning units are just, they're not in every home. And so what will happen is these Hero or PACE programs, they're home improvement programs. And like I said, PACE and Hero are like an acronym, and they're most frequently used home improvement programs here in California. And they'll wait for those summer months and they'll target a specific area where they know there's no air conditioning units, and they'll, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Jane Doe, did you guys want an air conditioning unit and a new roof and a new this and a that for free? That's what they'll say. That literally will come out of their mouth. And what they really mean is it's a no cost to sign this paperwork that says you will pay us later. That's really all the free that it is. Free to sign on that paper, and then later on you will pay. And I mean, it is outrageous what they're doing to these older communities and older people. It is. I've paid off or refinance, cash out refinance, and I paid off these home improvement programs. So if you know anyone that does have those type of home improvement programs, it's a lien on their property. It's a second mortgage on their property. And that I encourage you more than anything that I've said to pay it off. Because what it does is it hits your property taxes, and it increases your property taxes year after year. Every year that you don't pay them off, your property taxes are going up, which means if your mortgage is impounded, meaning if you have included in your mortgage payment your property taxes and homeowners insurance, it's impounded or it's on top of that principal and interest payment of your mortgage, your payment is going up every year. Yeah, every year that you have not paid off that home improvement program, that air conditioner, that luxury, every year that you have not paid it off, your payment is going up every year. So if I haven't said, if you haven't taken away anything out of all these podcasts and tips and tools that I have given to you, take this away. Pay off that home improvement loan. Okay? Pay it off. Again, because it's all about the cheaper the rate, right? The cheaper the money, right? And that's why I keep saying, is it a good time to refinance? Sure. If you have a worthy cause or you have something over here that's a higher interest rate, like a higher interest rate credit card, student loan. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not necessarily your student loans. I don't want to include that because most student loans are under 3% anyway, or should be, or under 2%. So that's the cheapest money that I found. But seriously, folks, ask yourself about your debt load. Ask yourself, do you want to send your kid to a private school where they're not offering enough tuition monies, loan monies, student loan monies? And if they're not, maybe you have to do a cash out refinance, because whatever you're doing, you always want to compare the cost of the money, right? You want to get the cheapest interest rate. So you say, because also keep in mind, when you file your tax returns the following year, interest rate, what you paid in interest is tax deductible. Okay, just keep that in mind. And more so than ever right now, if you have not filed your tax returns for 2021 that are due in 2022, if you have not filed those returns, call me. Give me a call so we can structure your tax returns and get you some money deductions or help you qualify for another property. a lot of self-employed clients out there right now who are looking to buy or refinance, and they'll say, oh, I haven't filed my tax returns. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it immediately so we can make sure you're not claiming too many deductions or expenses that will lower your adjusted gross income. You don't want to run into that problem either. And you don't want to run into the problem of not claiming the rental income that you can claim. If you have other properties, if you have other properties, it is not a mandatory thing that you write off that rental income. But if you have other properties and you're collecting rental income from these other properties, put it on your Schedule E. E as in elephant. Put it on there. Put it on there, especially if you're trying to qualify for another property. Maybe you want to purchase another property. So again, this episode of my podcast, Mortgage Money with Shirley, is it time to refinance? Ask yourself, what are you paying for the other money that you have outstanding with credit card debt or a car loan, or maybe you want to go on some vacation that you charged up with a timeshare or something. Ask yourself these questions and then think about refinancing, because again, rates are still under 4%. They're good interest rates that can be tax deducted next year when you do your tax returns. Okay? So let's don't worry so much about, oh my gosh, rates are over 2%. Yeah, they are. Unless you want to pay a lot of buy down points or discount points to get to that rate under 3%. But under 3% rates, under 3%, under 4%, they're good interest rates. They really are. So just think about, with your biggest investment, your biggest asset that you'll probably have in your lifetime, outside of, like I said, your 401k or something like that. Use your house for what it's worth, especially while you have the value. All too often people will say, well, I just want to hold on to this equity. I just want to hold on to this value, because right now values are starting to stable out. They're starting to, kind of do this kind of thing. And that's for now. That's for now in the 2022. Who knows at the end of the year or 2023 if that value will start, shooting back up again. But while you have what you have, sometimes clients will say, well, I just want to hold on to my equity until I sell it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when you get your equity out. Either take out the equity with a cash out refinance, or you can wait until you sell it and take the equity out then. It doesn't matter. It's cash, whether you get it now or you get it later. You know what I mean? And some people have an issue with that because, well, I sold my property. If I hadn't refinanced, I would have got that money too. But you got it when you refinanced, right? So again, whether you get the money now or you wait till you sell your property, and who's to say if you waited and sold your property 5 years from now, who's to say that the market doesn't dip? Gosh forbid. What? Who's to say the market depreciates versus appreciates, and that equity that you could have had right now is non-existing? I've always said this. The housing market, the mortgage industry, it does this. It's an ebb and flow type of a situation. It's an up and down. It's cyclical. It goes in cycles. It is cyclical. And that's all there is to it. So be smart about when you want your money, okay? That's my encouragement and my tip to you today. Is it time to refinance? Let's talk about it. So as I promised at the end of my podcast, I would definitely give you my phone number. Give me a call if you have questions, or if you don't want to instant message me or private message me on Facebook. And I hope if you had any comments that you will leave them on the comment section of the Facebook page that you're watching me on. Again, it's Mortgage Money with Shirley is my business Facebook page, or my personal page, Shirley Nichols. You will find this podcast also on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, go for it. And tune into my YouTube channel, subscribe under my channel, Shirley Nichols, and you'll find all 18, now 19 of these episodes that you can definitely utilize for tips and tools. And like I said, above all else, if you just don't want to do any of that stuff, give me a call at 818-720-7575, and I will promise to get to your questions and comments and concerns, because again, I love what I'm doing. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 28 years. But other than that, guys, I'll see you again on the third Friday of this month. Go forth. Have a great month of March, and I'll see you again on the third Friday. It's Mortgage Money with Shirley. Have a great weekend. Take care.